first off, let's start with Lineker. Absolute hammer. No way around it. Now, let me tell you guys a little bit about John Lineker, because this was his first main event and his first time really in the spotlight. You guys have known who he is for a while, but not everybody does. So let's rewind the tape and go back to 2013. John Lineker had won a couple of fights in a very unknown and underwhelming division, which is what that weight class was at that time. Newly formed, he'd won a couple of fights. That's all it really takes to be in the hunt and title contention. A couple of good wins. So he got a couple of good wins. Might have even been 3. And Dana White made him a deal. Look, you win this next fight, I'll give you a title shot. Well, Lineker goes out, he misses weight, but he wins the fight. So the UFC comes back and goes, hey, deal's off the table. We can't promote you into a title shot if you didn't make weight. If you don't make weight on the title shot, my goodness, everything gets blown. So they stop everything and they go, all right, same deal. Same deal for this next one. Win this next fight and we'll give you a title shot. Lineker misses weight, wins the fight. So the deal's off. Right? You don't get a title shot when you miss weight. Did the same thing again. Comes back, makes weight, wins his fight. Okay, moving into the next one, deal's back on. Win this next fight. Give you a title shot. Lineker missed weight, but he won the fight. So the deal's off. Now, by this time, when I started this story, that was in 2013. By now, we're to 2014 and approaching 2015. Well, this damn Lineker, nobody can beat him. I mean, the guy can fight. He's fast. He's ornery. He's in your face. He's even got a marketable look. I mean, this is a guy that you'd really like to push, but boy, he's got to beat the scale. He's the Anthony Johnson of that weight class. He just simply can't get down there. But when the fight starts, he's looking to destroy you. So that he's got everything that you want if you're a promoter. He's got everything that you need if you're a fan and a supporter and you want to get behind him. But he can't make the damn weight class. So we get out to Portland. Fight's going to be on Saturday. The weigh-ins are on Friday. John Lineker misses weight. Then on Saturday, he goes into the main event. He takes on John Dodson, who any day of the week is a number one contender. He's fought for the belt. He won a couple of rounds against Demetrius Johnson. How many people can say that? I mean, John Dodson is great, and Lineker whips him. But he didn't make weight. He didn't make weight. So what do you do? And I'm asking you guys this as a legitimate question because I don't have the answer. What do you do? It hurts Dodson that he lost. That hurts him. You can't unwind that. But should it? Is that fair that we let Dodson slip in the rankings or slip in our minds? Ethically, are we right to do that as fans when he was in an unfair contest? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I just know we do. I know it does hurt him. I know it does make him slip a little bit. Now, let's look at Lineker. The more important side of this, let's look at Lineker. He calls out he wants a title shot. Okay. Skill-wise, record-wise, yeah, man, you bet. But he didn't make weight. And in case you guys missed the timeline I just gave, 5 times. 5 times he has missed weight. And that's in 2 different weight classes, okay? Now, when I made the reference that he's like Anthony Johnson, if you guys remember, Anthony Johnson missed weight at 170 a couple of times. So they move him up to 185, put him against Vitor Belfort. He misses weight by 8 pounds, which was a record. When he was missing it at 170, he was missing it by 1 pound to 3. They move him up 15 pounds, and he sets a new record. He sets a new record for missing on his part. They move him up to 205. He ends up going on the independent circuit and just fought at heavyweight. It was the only way you could be safe. Now, he settled himself back down. Anthony, that's all way behind him. But he had he struggled with weight, and then he'd get in the ring, and he was awesome. He was awesome. Well, that's where Lineker's at. So what do we do with him? And I really do want to back and forth. If anybody's got ideas, let's take it over to Twitter. Give me your opinions at Chael Sonnen. Tell me what you think, because there's some moving parts there. Don't forget, if you're the promoter, if you want, and when I talked about Dotson earlier, and I already know what a lot of you are thinking, because I'm one of you. I'm one of you that looks at it and goes, yeah, it wasn't a fair fight. That's true, but we're only talking about a couple of pounds. That's not going to change the outcome of the contest. That's true. That is true. But, and there's a huge but, there's still an agreement in place. The agreement still wasn't met. Dotson did not have to do that fight. Per his contract, so you guys understand how this works, fighters are paid show money, and then they're paid a win bonus, and it's usually the same thing. To throw out a random number, let's say a guy is given $20,000 to show up, he will then be given $20,000 to win. That's just the standard of how the entire sport works. Any company, that's what our industry is. So if you're in Lineker's spot, from a promotional standpoint, you're going to put him into a world title fight from a promoter standpoint. That's likely going to be the main event somewhere. Likely. In a worst case, it's going to be a co-main. Say that's a main event. Let's say they're going to headline a card. Let's say you sell tickets. You make the promise. People save the money. They take the family out. They come to the fights to see the world title get disputed. Lineker misses weight the day before. Will that fight still happen? Yes. Yes, it will. But now the title's not up for grabs. The title is only up for grabs if the champion misses weight. I am actually responsible for that. I could tie myself into this. I had a fight with a guy named Paulo Filo. Many years ago, Paulo was the champion. He missed weight by 7 pounds. Because he missed weight, it now cannot be a title fight. I won the fight. That was the day that the commission stepped in and said, look, this has actually never happened. Through boxing and through MMA, we've had guys miss weight, but we've never had a champion miss weight. So the way the rule read was if somebody misses weight, the title is no longer up for grabs. Well, that's a great way if you're the champion and you're in the hot seat. Just come in a half a pound overweight, now all of a sudden you don't have anything to lose. Well, they never factored it in, and because they never factored it in, because it had never happened, it wasn't within the rules, I win the fight. I'm not the champion. So I tied myself into that because that they did change that rule after that contest. They came out and said, all right, you miss weight, but you're the champion. The challenger still has an ability to take your belt. But I think you guys are connecting the dots on the problem here. So if Lineker was to go for a championship title fight, it has been promised to be a championship title fight, and he misses weight, if they're a main event, it now screws that whole thing up. The belt's no longer up. What everybody, every ticket buyer, every marketing, every TV, pay-per-view subscriber, what everybody has promised, they now can't deliver on because per the rule, the championship doesn't go up. Let's say they're a co-main. It really throws things off because now it's not even a 5-round contest. Right? Title fights and main events are 5-round contests. Co-main events are not unless they're a championship fight. So if Lineker was to fight for the title and it ended up in a co-main spot, but he misses weight, now not only is the belt that's been promised not up for dispute, but now you're into a 15-minute time limit as opposed to a 25. And if you're on television where you have a window and sponsors and you've got to meet certain guidelines, it can really throw things off. Do you guys see the problem? There's politics there, but they matter. They're relevant. They're part of our sport. So what do you do with Lineker? That's my question, and I don't have the answer. Skill-wise, yeah, you promote the guy. Rankings-wise, he's going to move up if possible, if even possible. I believe he's ranked number 3 right now. If I'm wrong, he's number 2. So there's not a lot of room for him to move up. There's not a lot of advancing there you can do. From a promoter standpoint, you can't give him what he's asking for and rightly deserves record-wise, which is a title shot. You can't do it. And they've made that clear to him. Now, Lineker, after he won this fight, he came out and he goes, look, I had a little mishap at the weigh-ins, but my fighting still speaks for itself, and I want Dominic Cruz and I want a title fight. Well, I don't think that can happen because I'm looking at history. I'm going all the way back to 2013 where he ended up in this exact same spot. And somewhere over time, I think he's just hoping the promoter gives in. Well, how can a promoter give in, and why would he? How could a promoter cave, and why would he? How can you, and why would you bet on that horse? If the guy can't make the weight, how can you potentially crown him the champion in that weight? Do you guys see the problem?